Okay, hello. Am I recording? I think I am. Okay, guys, I thought I would take the opportunity after I just did all my yard work. I mowed the yard and edged and weed whacked and blew it off and swept the sidewalks, and now I'm here walking Busby. I thought I would take this time to fill you in on what happened to me, although I think most of you know. Well, a couple of times last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, I will say, I had sensation of shortness of breath. I remember one time I was changing my shirt in the morning, getting dressed, putting on my shirt, and it was just a little, second of feeling out of breath. And then there was another time I felt that. Well, I didn't think anything of it. But Sunday, I had gotten up and I started doing chores. I put garbage and recycling out. I put some wash in the washer. I went out and I was sweeping the sidewalk, and it was when I was sweeping the sidewalk that I really felt winded. Just so winded. And I would stop and I would catch my breath, and then I would start sweeping again, and then here I am winded again. Over and over, and I really thought, geez. And, a couple of times I've been thinking, I'm out of shape. I'm not working out like I used to. I've got to start doing cardio. I'd really like to start jogging again. I picked up a lot of weight over the winter. And I would resolve to, tomorrow night I'm going to go jogging. Tomorrow night I'm going to start jogging again. But Sunday, so I finished the sweeping, and I thought, okay, I waited to catch my breath. And I thought, okay, I'll go walk Busby now. So we went off and I was walking Busby, and I was winded again. And not only was I winded, but I got an ocular migraine, which I've gotten in the past. It's when you start having vision disturbances, blind spots, and then flashing lights. So I thought, well, I think we'd better go home. So we went home and I laid down. The ocular migraine went away, the windedness went away, but I got a headache. And I thought, I think I got to go see the doctor. The week before this, my dad went to his doctor appointment because he was diagnosed with COPD, and he was being evaluated to get some oxygen. And they noticed that his leg was red and swollen, and they discovered he had a blood clot. So he was in the hospital for, 4 or 5 days with a blood clot. So my dad thought, I wonder if you have a blood clot. So I made a doctor appointment. I went to the doctor. He looked at me. He did not think that I looked like I had a blood clot. I had no swelling. My legs weren't red or swollen. The oxygenation of my blood was fine, normal. But to be preemptive, he decided to do he suggested I do a battery of tests if I really wanted to. And he said if they all come back negative, then maybe we'll work on a diet, because maybe I'm overweight, because he mentioned, you're heavier than you've been. So, okay, I'll do that. So I'm allergic to contrast dye, of course. So they had to do a nuclear scan, a VQ scan, I think it's called. So I showed up at my hospital. Well, actually, I went right there from the doctor appointment, and it was a fiasco. We went in there, and because my doctor's not affiliated with that hospital, he didn't send orders. He spoke with a doctor in the emergency room. So I got there, and the emergency room didn't have a record of why I was supposed to be there. They sent me to testing and treatment. Testing and treatment didn't have a record of why I should be there. They sent me back to the emergency room. We waited until 7 p.m. I never got called back. We decided to leave. Didn't think there's anything wrong with me anyway. We decided to go to Kenosha Hospital because we like the hospital in Kenosha. My parents have been there. They like it. My doctor is affiliated with that hospital. So we thought, okay, we'll go to that one. Went to that one, had the VQ scan. While I was having the VQ scan, the machine broke down. They had to reboot it. Got it done, went out to the waiting room. One of the pictures was a double exposure or something, had to redo it. Went back to the waiting room. Eventually I got called in and told that I did have a blood clot in my leg. and it had broken off and traveled to my lung. So I had a pulmonary embolism, a very serious condition, life-threatening condition. I had to be put in the hospital right away. Rushed to the emergency room straight from the test. I was there for 4 days. They did all kinds of scans, everything that they could. They did blood testing to see why I had a blood clot, what caused this. Come to find out, I have a hereditary blood disorder called lupus anticoagulant. And that all my family members should be tested because it's a hereditary disease. So all my family might have it. No, there's no history of anybody being diagnosed with this. I guess this is a new discovery. We've only really known about this for 30 years, is what the doctor said, medically. So, I have to be on a blood thinner for life. And because I have this condition which has me being prone to blood clots. And he doesn't think this was my first blood clot. And so he said that the blood clot started in my leg, and he said he saw showers of blood clots in my right lung. Isn't that lovely? I mean, a couple of times I really thought, well, okay then, I'm dying. I kept asking the people doing the test, am I dying? What's going on? And they would always say, no, you are not dying. This is a very serious condition, but you are very lucky. We caught it, and you're safe now, because I was on the blood thinners. So that's where I am. I'm taking the blood thinners. I'll be taking them for life. And I now know that I have lupus anticoagulant. The rest of my family is supposed to be tested to see if they have it. I have no idea which side of the family I inherited it from, my dad or my mom, although my dad just had a blood clot. Indicators would say it probably came from him, although he's going to be 90 this month, and this was his first blood clot. So, who knows? They say it might have just spontaneously... This condition might have just spontaneously arisen in me, and the rest of my family might not have it. Of course, I joked that, does this mean that I'm illegitimate? My mom did not like that. Okay, so this is probably going to be a long video because of that, but I just wanted to let everybody know what happened to me this week. And I have doctor follow-ups. I have to see my doctor Wednesday, and then I think I have to see a pulmonologist. I'll be seeing him probably for the rest of my life. I don't know right now. But I really thank God I was very lucky, very, very lucky, or blessed, as you want to say. And as you may want to say, or may not want to say. Say whatever you want. I think my doctor told me at one point that when I kept asking to go home, every time people would come in, I would tell them, I just want to go home. He said some 98%, I think he said 98% of people who have pulmonary embolisms die. So I was extremely lucky. So for a minute I thought this was my brother-in-law, but it's not. Jogging up behind me. Okay, that's it for now. See you later. Bye.